Jason Knight was born and raised in the beautiful small town of Augusta, Georgia, and was the second oldest of 5 children. Jason wanted to make his mark on the world and escape his hometown of Augusta. As Jason grew up, he knew the best way to do this was to aim high in his academics and try to make a huge impression. His grades were always some of the best, and he got many awards throughout his academic career. After he had graduated high school, Jason worked hard to submit applications to several well-known universities in different states. As fate would have it, the University of Central Florida accepted his application and gave him a full-ride scholarship for his impressive accomplishments throughout high school. Life in Orlando was vastly different than what he expected. As much as he wanted to party throughout his university life, he made sure to stick his nose to the grindstone and reach the highest marks possible. After a little over 4 years, Jason graduated from the University of Central Florida with his bachelor's degree in finance. After this accomplishment, Jason wanted to work for his master's degree next. However, he was offered a job at a branch of Merrill Lynch in Jacksonville, Florida. After a lot of contemplation, he accepted the job and began a new stage of his life. Once he made it to Jacksonville, Jason began his new job and was enjoying the thought of eventually moving up the ladder to bigger and better things in the future. Sadly, loneliness struck quicker than Jason had expected. Throughout college, he always had people around him since he lived in a dorm, but now he would go home to an empty apartment. With that, Jason decided it was time to get a dog. He adopted an adorable rescue named Tootsie. Having a companion around helped make the end of his work days even better. Budgeting his income was a troublesome task for Jason, though he had always been good with numbers. He realized he had gone over budget, but luckily he was able to stabilize himself by reducing his spending and reorganizing his budget to sustain his lifestyle and maintain happiness.
As Jason continued attending work, he began to branch out and make some new friends, one of them being his co-worker named Maria. When they met in the break room, they slowly started to get to know one another. Maria had a dog, Raleigh, so the two of them were able to bond over their dogs. Hanging out outside of work at the dog park often, one thing led to another and the two of them decided to start dating. After several months of dating, they decided to take the next step and move in together. Jason fell absolutely head over heels for Maria. He debated proposing to her because he loved her and wanted to start a family with her. He decided to propose at the dog park where they often met up with their dogs, and Maria said yes. Not long after, Maria found out that she was pregnant. They decided to get married while she was pregnant. That way their baby would have a stable household to live in. Jason and Maria decided to have a small, intimate wedding to save costs so that they would be more prepared for their baby coming soon. We were able to use the communication theories like trial marriage and the 3 core elements of love, intimacy, passion, and commitment to help us decide when they would be having the marriage and to help their relationship before the baby came. They ended up getting married right before their son Nicholas was born. They were struggling a lot because they were such young parents, but were able to make it work to the best of their ability. There was no easy feat. They worked on developing roles and rituals that could strengthen not only their communication, but their family dynamics. Becoming parents suddenly strained Jason and Maria's relationship with their relational motivation, as well as confidence in their parenting skills. Being able to recognize their parenting styles and how they best complement each other to benefit Nicholas, they managed to sort out disputes between them. They were able to pay off most of Jason's credit card debt, but most of the time they were living paycheck to paycheck. This made things very uncomfortable for them, especially Maria. So they decided it was best to work on their budget in the best interests for Nicholas. They also started to experience distancing problems because of everything going on around them. They felt like they weren't as close as they used to be. so they decided to work on their communication with each other. We were able to utilize the lectures on marriage, the family stages, and the relationships to help us work on a communication plan for them and some of the challenges that they may be facing during this stage of their lives.
Jason and Maria went through many difficult challenges within their marriage, especially when it came to their communication skills and budgeting. Recognizing everyone's role in Jason's family and the processes of life cycles within a family home, we incorporated the potential strain that uncalled for emergencies and situations play in relationships. One of the challenges they didn't see coming was the pandemic that is COVID-19 and how much it was going to affect their lives. They didn't lose their jobs, but they weren't able to work the same hours they were working before the pandemic, which affected them financially, on top of having to worry about their own health and Nicholas at the same time. The most important thing for them was being healthy and keeping their family safe, but they struggled with some loss of income and had to resort to applying for unemployment. The coronavirus pandemic affected them and the world greatly, but they were able to overcome it together and stay together as a happy, healthy family. Overcoming this helped them a lot. Nicholas kept growing up, and from previous experiences, Jason and Maria were able to be great communicators in their relationship. Later in life, Nicholas was able to get accepted to the University of Central Florida, just like his father. And Jason couldn't have been more proud of him and how he raised him. Jason was able to work to reach the highest rank in the job that he loved, and his life was just like he dreamed of. Life kept moving, and Nicholas eventually graduated college, was living his own life and making his own mistakes. In that moment in time, Jason knew he gave his son a beautiful life and got to do it with his soulmate Maria. As years went on, right before Jason passed away, he was able to reflect on the challenges he faced and some of the hard times he went through. Two of the biggest challenges being when he lived in Georgia in the first couple years of Nicholas's life. He knew all the hardships he went through were all worth it at the end of the day to help their family have a strong bond, and he lived the life he really wanted to. He learned what it meant to be in a loving, healthy relationship and saw how hard it could be to be a parent sometimes, but he wouldn't have had it any other way.